Hey, how's it going? So, I am going to read you some cards, but first, please look at my signs. Okay, so I pulled the one card from the Shaman's Dream Oracle deck for people that read right way up. And it is the, number 45 card, Repairing the Veil, Forgiveness. Come on, get a grip. Okay, and then I also pulled one from the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck. The Oyster card. And the icon at the top there indicates the water element, as does the picture. Yeah. So, I also had something else on my mind, though. And I kind of want to start there. It's sort of like a continuation from yesterday's videos, or maybe I put out one this morning, but I had made it yesterday. The previous two, though, the things I was talking about, and one of them was fear, and it's all kinds of different things, and one of the things we fear is darkness, but, you know, if you encounter so much of it that like you're just constantly fearful of it, and you feel hunted or something like that, then well, I mean, I just feel like it's not one size fits all the way we relate to it. And I know that my feeling about it has evolved so much over the years. So I guess, like a lot of things, it just kind of takes time. But one of the things that kind of got mixed up in that thought process was something that happened. I'm so bad at remembering dates anymore. It would have to be in the 80s in LA, where I'm from. And I was living at this house, or this apartment, with some other people. And I was staying with someone who lived there for a brief period. And so it had some kind of paranormal thing going on there. They thought it was a demon, the people whose place it was. And I mean, I'm not saying that what they think is wrong, because apparently while they lived there, they were aware, because they were aware that whatever was there was hostile, and didn't like some drivers using the freeway on-ramp that was like the road butting up to the parking lot / backyard of this place. And apparently it like caused a couple of cars to come off of the on-ramp and, you know, injure and stuff the people in the cars. Like, I guess in some cases all the way injure. And so I don't actually doubt that at all. I just when I lived there, I understood why they would think that this thing did something for a reason, like that they would feel like they understood its motivations. Because when I lived there, whatever it was had the ability to like get into your dreams and mess with your head, right? So we didn't like discuss it a whole lot, except for a couple of cases where it was making us all have the same dream, and what it had us doing in the dream, and then we like woke up and kind of ended up doing what we were doing in the dream, but it had a whole different tone, and it was sort of like in the dream we were like automatons, and when we woke up we were not. And okay, scalp. It was intense, and it was really scary. Like, I didn't stay long. I left. But stuff happened when I was there. So when they said that that happened with the cars and stuff, I was like, I wasn't all, you people are crazy. Like, I just didn't doubt kind of that much. I don't know. I was just like, okay. Like, maybe I doubted it, but I don't remember doubting it, really. I was just kind of like, trust and verify, I guess. And then I found out. So anyway, I have some of my little notes. I wrote it with the idea of putting it on WordPress, which I will probably do later, but I kind of like really got the idea pretty strongly to just go ahead and read it here. So it's not that long, I hope. Here's what me got on this subject. I watched an episode of The Haunted of on the LMN network show that has a psychic medium named Kim Russo as like the host, I guess. So LMN, I'm not sure. I think it's Ladies Movie Network or something like that. I'm not sure if it's ladies, but it's a YouTube channel, and it's also like a cable network. LMN. Anyway, it has like celebrity ghost, celebrity haunting, or it has a lot of haunting shows and kid psychic shows and things like that. And then like other, I guess, women's programming, ladies programming. Anyway, there's a YouTube channel of it that plays this show. And so Kim Russo meets with celebrities who have experienced or who had experienced paranormal things in locations, and then they revisit the locations they're drawn back to with her to resolve their unfinished business. Because, you know, if it happens to you, in my case, all I can say is, like, once I ran the hell out of there, I kept my thoughts as far away from it as possible. Like, I just didn't want to even conjure up the image, so to speak, or excite. Like, I didn't want to send a message. I didn't know what I was thinking, but I just like shut that down, like, brick wall, and get out of here, and then moved really far away. And I'm laughing because I could be on the moon, but if I do, quote unquote, conjure up the image by thinking about it or talking about it, that's gonna do it no matter where I am. But, you know, now I'm like not afraid of it anymore. I'm also still really far away from that particular location, but I actually think that I would go walking back in there just to I guess re-experience it, to see if it's still there. I know the location is still there. I know that it's different. The freeway that was, well, it still is, like, just butted up right up against it. It's like it's like right there. So yeah, I can't stop thinking about it, and now I'm not afraid of it. And then other things, it just kind of made me open up to pre-existing stuff and stuff that I've become more aware of, that I talk about on here, and blah blah blah. So anyway, let me read it. So they experience paranormal in locations, and they revisit them to resolve the unfinished business. It's the continuation of celebrity ghost stories. And And this last episode featured, this last one I watched, I should say, Meatloaf. And the scene in the episode that's lit the fire under the memory that I was just telling you about, lit the fire under the memory I'm going back to. In it, he argued aloud with the spirit he had a pretty obvious perception of. I related to the experience because mine was so similar. I, on the other hand, kept my debate on the inside. I felt a sameness to his indignation that the spirit had so manipulated him. And it, like, really messed with him. And he, I don't think was there that long, but he's like a big wide open channel, apparently, or he was. So, natural medium, I guess I'm trying to say. Yeah, so he had a pretty obvious perception of it. And I related to the experience because mine was so similar. You know, like, I kept my debate on the inside. I felt the same as to his indignation that the spirit had so manipulated him. And maybe that since at the time of the incident, some 40 years ago, he wasn't as self-assured as he was upon his return. So at the time, yeah, if it's the first time it happens to you, like hardcore the way it did with him, like a bunch of things, and also me, for Christ's sake, now I think about it, it like kind of blows up your brain. And we didn't really talk about what happened at the time, which I thought and still think is weird, since apparently, obviously, stuff was happening to other people too. At the same time, we were just going about like nothing's happening, like not even talking about it. I don't know if you know this about me. I don't know if you caught on to this, but I would talk your head off about it if you would have talked to me about it. Anyway, it was as if in the intervening years, his fear turned from that to righteous anger. I had that in the moment, but I also left the place like a bat out of hell. In my own intervening years, I have learned a lot about myself and spirits, and allowing influence, or knowing we don't have to allow that shit. We can decide not to participate in that way. We have more autonomy in those situations than we give ourselves credit for. Since all that happened to me, I've reflected a lot about about existing in the world with live humans and the supernatural and spirits and other beings and entities. About how dead people are the same people they were alive, only now they're non-corporeal and or enhanced in ways we so physically bound find so much harder to access. Let me try that again. The spirits are physically enhanced in ways we so physically bound find so much harder to access. Jeez, well, that is a bad construction. Anyway, I learned we're not powerless, just more unskilled in most cases. But spirituality and the supernatural, I think there are like part of the whole cloth, it's like not separate, well, maybe they are separate divisions, but adjacent. Like just part of the whole, it's a part of it, all of it, like nothing's not a part of it. I think is the whole idea. Where is the beginning of a sentence? Oh, yeah, spirituality and the supernatural, I think they're whole cloth. with everything on the level of basic human perception, therefore not to be as fearful as we tend to think. I think, to be clear, our fears can be used against us in the same way a narcissist is often skilled at pressing buttons of people, even stone cold strangers. They just know how to get you. I hate that because they always get me. Oh, they mess with me. They don't get me. I'm not I've learned that much. Anyway, it feels I feel as if other side of the veil beings can do the same. Just immediately know how to press your buttons. Your fear buttons, especially, or your emotional ones. I really I think it depends on, just like with a live human or an animal, what kind of vibrations you're sending back and forth. If you're compatible, and then maybe a willingness will become evident for communication to happen. Or, as in real life, you'll just be in the same room with a person and not even exchange a word and just hate them like poison. You won't even know why. I'm sure it happens when they're on the other side too. And apparently the veil does not brook that kind of interference. It just lets that happen. So that's interesting. Anyway, where was I? I feel like the thing to remember is to keep up our defenses, same as we would with a human trying to mess with our head. May I just say, too, that we aren't always so successful at repelling energies that are flesh and blood and visible. I feel like we need to deploy the same skill set with both, if possible, for your own safety, really. I feel like that was important to share. That it was important to share these thoughts. More and more, we're fearful of so much that we maybe are allowing ourselves to be carried away, and not by ourselves. We're not carrying ourselves away. We're kind of relinquishing our self-control to influence. And sometimes that's not a good thing to do. Not smart. So defenses and kind of gotta pay attention and protect yourself too. I feel like I see people unnaturally influenced many times and wondered if they gave up possession of themselves. I feel like that this was news we could use. So that last part, another terrible sentence construction, but I feel like I see people acting unnaturally, as if they're under the influence of, possibly, some kind of substance or other influence. Could even be supernatural, yeah, I'm not going to start into a whole nother lecture, but that was the other thing that just sort of came out when I saw that video, and I guess I had to share it with y'all people. So that kind of explains why I pulled this card, but there's other stuff too that came up while I was just going through my day, but also preparing to do this. I had watched this video about the dragon year and energy and indigo children and crystal people and black sheep and why you're alone for so long. It kind of just a whole ball of wax of information, but it made me feel better. Because I related to a lot of it, just feeling different from other people and ending up the black sheep when, in my case, like I haven't even been inside of a police car. I think maybe when I was in third grade, there was like a officer friendly situation, but I don't know that I don't know that even then I actually got inside the car. I think we just kind of gathered around it or whatever. But what I'm saying is well, there's other people that more fit that description than myself. Maybe because I haven't been officially caught and stuff, but hey, it matters. It's a tick in the column or not, and I haven't gotten ticked on that. So, oyster, patient, secret keeper. Well, I just gave it up. Hiding inner treasures. The focus in dermatitis? No. Maybe a little. Kind of crusty. Sorry. Excuse me. Come on. The focus and determination of the oyster is unmatched. Anything an oyster personality puts their mind to, they achieve with grace and charm. The only problem is, oyster types often take their inner gifts for granted. They become shy or doubtful, and this can lead to withdrawing or protecting their deepest desires and life's work when the oyster... Sorry. They can become shy and doubtful, and this can lead to withdrawing or protecting their deepest desires and life's work. When the oyster card appears, it's important to reveal your inner treasures. What is it you've been hesitant to share? The world is waiting to see. Oh, okay. Now I understand. So, one thing that Dragon Energy, Year of the Dragon video, which obviously I'm going to have to link that. Link it. Link Dragon vid. So, it talked about that thing that happens apparently with a number of crystal children and indigo people. It's in the video, and now I'm just getting all mixed up. But you find yourself like feeling separate from people, like maybe your family you're not a part of, or you just like you feel different. And I didn't grow up like I feel different. I don't feel like I'm at home. I don't belong here. I didn't have all of that going on. Like, I'm more adaptable. I'll be like, okay, this is cool. I'll hang out here. But once the notion came to me, like I became aware of the information, I was like, well, it would make sense if I had some other kind of origin, because I don't seem to be like anybody else, like close to me, like, including my parents, like not really anybody. So, but I wasn't all like, oh my god, I'm not at home. Like none of that I didn't get, which is fine. But the point is that you, like, no one like quite gets you. You just don't like click with people, right? Except once in a while, and that does totally still happens, but I'm older now, so I'm used to it, and then I've learned a thing or two, and also about like, do I even want to engage with new person or say such, it's like you learn to pick your battles after a while, or situations, so that you just don't even end up having the battle part. You evolve, you get older, you learn stuff, and so you're developing skills sort of separately from everyone else. And the reason for that, according to this video and lots of other videos and lots of other things that I've just kind of put together myself, and the videos are confirmation, but they say it better than I do, and they have graphics and music and stuff, so maybe it's more convincing too. But they were saying that in the age of Aquarius that we're entering now, this skills and the way that people are that made them so different from everyone else are now coming into the time where, like, this is it, this is what you're for, this is why you're the way you are, like, for you to help people understand, like, to go through, like, all of this crap that's built up over eons that we all are karmically having to, like, cycle like a giant worm in one end and out the other, and everybody's got to experience it. So the black sheep, indigo, and crystal people have been through it, and that's part of the black sheepage. And I guess that's why I've been talking about the darkness and the fear and what's really to be feared, and in my opinion, and what isn't, and how the fear can mess you up. Like, when you're trying to protect yourself, you can cause yourself more danger because you're, like, shooting off your mouth, and or you don't know something, and you're I mean, stuff is coming to the surface that is making us act crazy, like I've been saying. And it's like, there can be a whole lot of reasons, but there are, I think, also a whole bunch of other reasons that I'm kind of talking about, and other spirituality channels are talking about, that maybe the general population is just, I mean, it's in the media now, so it's starting to penetrate, obviously, but that can be influenced and sort of tweaked. So it's just another layer of, you gotta figure out, like, what the heck is right or wrong about this. You know, you gotta divine the truth. You gotta, like, seek it out and feel it out, and or get carried away by influence and get caught up in the current that you don't have really much control over, because you said, okay, take me away. Like our government here in the U.S., now is the time to stop saying, okay, been cruising along, like, time to make time to pay attention to, like, who exactly are we going to be electing here? Because, can I just insert here personally, I feel like the quality of our elected officials, there's a lot of them, and there's a lot of them that are quiet and in the background and just head down doing the necessary work and doing things that progressives would really love, and that centrists would really love, like getting work done that they're not out there bragging, looking for bragging rights for, and stuff like that. So that's kind of like the same thing too. Like, eventually their good work's going to come to light, and they're going to be, if not lauded, their work will not only be appreciated but useful for sake. So that idea that, you know, the square peg all of a sudden is fitting in the hole, that kind of resonates with me. And it made me think of other things that, like, were there all along, but people just were not picking up on. And I have come to this again and again, but it's the misunderstanding of the participation trophy. Because one thing that they said in the video is, what's happening right now is, like, authoritarian systems, or leaders that are inauthentic and not out there to help the people. You know, the ones that are out there trying to help themselves and take down the systems that are in place to help people, so they can, you know, fulfill needs that are only helpful to a greedy few and a cruel few that want to control stuff. Like, that's getting moved out of the way, and it doesn't want to go. And it's going to take a while, because it's been there for a while, and it's been able to, like, if not root, lock down, you know, because it ain't natural. But leadership is changing. What people want out of leadership and leaders is changing. So the idea of the participation trophy, and not just like the, I'm better than everybody else and you all are dirt, kind of sugarcoat it any way you want. It's like a pyramid deal, and that's always unfair. So, I mean, if they won fairly, that's fine, but the way that we have been winning, it's like we're like sore winners. And really, if everybody wins, everybody wins. And I know that's so hard for our egoist situation, civilization to accept. But gotta call on that radical acceptance. Gotta call on that forgiveness for everything that we've all been holding against each other. And actually, like, say thank you for your service, because even as we completely drive each other nuts and get all crazy, it's to the end, the ultimate end of all of us for the good, for the better. And maybe that'll make these other cards I pulled from the Lightseers deck make some more sense. Because when I pulled them, they kind of didn't. Are they in the right? Yeah. So I got the Judgment card again from a different deck. And I say again because I've gotten it like 2 days in a row in a... Was it a different deck or this deck? Wait, is this Judgment? Does this have 2 Judgment cards? I don't know, but I got Oh no, I guess the Scales is in the Lightseers deck. I mean, the Shaman's Dream Oracle. Boy, I'm getting all confused. But anyway, Judgment came up again, but I felt like it's more like, yeah, we've been judging ourselves and judging each other. It's done. Stick a fork in the judging. Let's move on to forgiveness. Been carrying around a lot of baggage, and even though we have a beast of burdens, like, you're bagged down, you're bogged down. Let it go. You know, I almost feel like you can't run off with all the silverware. You gotta return it. You gotta, like, make good. But, like, yeah, give back the baggage. We've done this to each other for a long time. We even do it to each other when we're dead, which is crazy. Like, you have the chance to step off the staircase and go into the light. You just still want to stick around to sew up that unfinished business for somebody else's haunting of. Thank you for your service. Amen. Oh, I laugh, but I'm actually serious too. So this is just like a racing mind to me, which does no one, including the person with the racing mind, any good, but the people around them, you know, they're gonna get like feathers and possibly bird poop slung, and she's gonna be slinging her arms around, accidentally walloping people, you know, metaphorically, I feel like. So yeah, like just this whole, all this time we spent just like mentally and physically battering each other. It's like enough is enough. And here is the, in light of our past, the completely kind of antithetical, wait, is that the right word? That's not the word I wanted. Counterintuitive idea that, like, you know, it doesn't have to be when pigs fly that we could consider love. And I don't say that mockingly. I just say that, like, in opposition to, and, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And you did this to me, and you did that to me, and this one, and that, and just us participating to a level and then dragging all of it around. It's too much. We can't do it. We can't handle it. We're not good at it. It's time to do something wacko and crazy and start thinking about love and loving each other. And for crap's sake, let's be nice to each other. let's give each other reasons to be nice to each other. This, like sometimes we have to be shaken awake to accept help even. And I'm not talking about people with mental illness, but I'm talking about people that have had hard times, that kind of get stuck underneath all of the baggage of their own and everyone else's, and they don't get any help. When we choose light and make the improbable choice, the counterintuitive choice, the good will come back to you, because you ultimately, any one of us that decides to make a decision like that, even just for themselves in their own life, is going to make an immense amount of difference on everyone around them and everything around them. Like, some aspect of it will leak out, and be appreciated, and eventually they will see that, wait, something good or better is happening here, and they'll want some. They'll want a piece of it. How do I become a part of that? Let's exchange. And I feel like that's a good thing. And so it is improbable, and I guess antithetical. I'm gonna have to look that up, because I'm doubting if I'm using the right word. Let me write that down too for my information box. Antithetical. Look it up. But there's going to be at least, well, it's not going to be just one person, probably. Maybe one person that people know about it first, because it's probably not going to be a loud movement or a, like, bombastic situation. It's just, love doesn't have to scream and yell at you to be big, and it's really, I'm ready to exchange all of the other big, loud, noisy, hurtful stuff for big, loud, nice laughs and fun. And it's just, might not be well received. Like, apparently there was a Jesus ad in the Super Bowl commercials about the washing feet, I guess, parable. And I didn't hear very many people get the symbolism of the story, but the Jesus gets us people, they're trying, because the idea, what Jesus had it right, the stuff that he said, and a lot of it seems to have survived intact, like the message. You had to be there. What? Wait, in Bible study with me? Not with the apostles. Anyway, didn't take him too well at the time either, but you know what? For love to happen, I can't sing it. It's a dirty job, but someone's got to do it. I remember how much fun they were having in that video with Chuck. And I say that's the spirit. Thank you, and good night. Where's the button?